Okay, this is my second flight in the field with the new Mavic Air. And again, you can check the link within this video's description to find the Mavic Air in various colors, different combos, all kinds of good stuff. And now the first flight, if you haven't watched that video, check it out. But this being the second flight, I've put the prop guards on because I want to see, you know, can we capture the prop guards within the camera's field of view? Does it severely impact the Mavic Air's performance with the prop guard zone? You know, to be tested. So we're at 96% battery life. I had yet another firmware update that came through, so be prepared before you head to the field to your safe and responsible flying location. Be prepared to potentially encounter some firmware updates. So even like me updating firmware last night, there's still firmware updates that that have hit me, multiple firmware updates, controller and the drone itself. So, you know, turn it on a few times before you head to the field. Make sure everything is downloaded and updated because there's probably a flood of them. So what I've done now is I've gone into settings. So I'm in video mode, and it's worth mentioning during my first flight test, you notice that I had a very limited amount of recording time for 4K 30, and that's because where it says storage location, if you go to where you go to format your SD card or format your internal storage, that storage location should be SD card, because otherwise it's probably going to default to internal storage, which is an insignificant amount of space. So I'm going to go ahead and hit record. We're going to get this sucker airborne. 95% battery life. Recording has been initiated in 4K 30 frames per second. It's worth mentioning that is 100 megabit, which is super cool. Should result in more detail. Don't confuse 100 megabit 4K with 100 frames per second 4K. It's still 30 frames per second 4K, but it's recording at 100 megabit to the card. So let's go ahead and take off here. With the prop guard zone, what I'm going to do is bring it kind of close to the camera so you can see if there's any sort of, that's interesting, propeller guard or extra payload detected. Flight performance may be impacted. That's kind of neat that it detected the weight difference. Should get a chirping here with optical avoidance. There's no chirping, but it's not coming back. It's 6 feet away from the camera and myself. Checking the wind speed here. Let's see what kind of wind speed we got. We have a wind speed of around 5.2 knots, 5.6 knots. 6.4, we had a burst of 6.4. So the wind is, you know, it's fluctuating a little bit. With prop guard zone, I hit about 20 miles per hour. Not in sport mode or anything. That's a subject for a different video. 4.3 feet off the ground. Be interesting to see the detail of the grass. Now let's fly over the landing pad and see how those colors look. You know, how well saturated or how poorly saturated is this camera. We're going to gimbal wheel down. I've adjusted the gimbal wheel speed. Check out my other video where I explain how to do that, because now there is a significant amount of wind right now, but even with that wind, it's holding itself pretty steady. You can notice a little bit of fluctuation though, but keep in mind at a greater and safe altitude, those wobbles due to the wind are probably less noticeable. When you're really up on an object, you can really see that. Let's go back. The wind died down now, so let's go back and look at that landing pad. See, now, I mean, it's pretty rock solid. I think you may be able to see it in the camera too, the drone hovering there. You can see there's not a lot of drift, and that's important. Now I'm going to go over here. To do a little obstacle avoidance test. I'm gonna go towards me and it should stop because it sees me. Okay, so that worked well. Let's do a little bit of flying, get a little bit of safe and responsible altitude just to see how the camera performs and how the drone performs with the prop guard zone. We're at a safe altitude of about 99 feet. Gonna zip around a little bit here, get some speed. Again, not in sport mode, just in regular mode. Going about 14 miles per hour. Do some turns here. Some people have reported that prop guards kind of make it float in the wind. You know, give it a floating type feel from a handling perspective and also from a video perspective. So, you know, again, not strong wind today. You know, we noticed something around 6.4 knots. But, I mean, in the FPV view, it looks good. And, you know, worth mentioning in this video, in my first field test video, I have not noticed any stutter within the FPV live view. So that was one of my primary points of concern with this not having OcuSync, with this being what they refer to as enhanced Wi-Fi. You know, would the FPV experience be as good as, say, a Phantom 4 or a Mavic Pro? And I can say, you know, so far, everything looks really good. Now, again, I fly line of sight to be safe and responsible, so I'm not someone that's taking this thing out on a long-range journey. If I was out over open ocean, that would be a different animal. But since I'm not out over open ocean right now, I'm flying line of sight to be safe and responsible. And, you know, flying line of sight, I have not encountered any issues with this Wi-Fi, enhanced Wi-Fi, or whatever they call it. So, you know, it does a good job. And that was what I was most concerned about. So, with that being the case, you know, I can confidently say that this Mavic Air is definitely a drone to consider. I mean, you're getting something smaller, more lightweight, more portable than any other drone out there, and it folds up, and it's still got 4K video, 4K 30. You know, so what else could you want? I mean, it's solid performer. We're down to about 58% battery life now. And see, now you can see just a hover, minimal amount of fluctuation, what looks to be great image quality within the FPV view. I can't wait to download and edit this video and see what it looks like in, you know, 4K uploaded to YouTube. So let's go ahead and land this one at 54% because I want to save some of battery 2 of 3 to play with some of the modes, play with boomerang mode and some other modes. So that should give you a fair idea for battery life with the prop guards installed. I'm going to go ahead and stop that recording. But yeah, you know, it's at 51%, so that's good. I mean, there may be a performance hit by having the prop guard zone, but I think, in my opinion, the safety, obviously never assume prop guards are on there because it could still be dangerous even with the prop guards. But, you know, again, being the drone evangelist, go to droneevangelist.com. You know, I preach drone safety responsible drone use. So, you know, having those prop guards on, even if you don't need them, obviously I don't need them because I've been flying since Phantom 1, but it just exudes an additional degree of safety. And that's what we need right now for drone hobbyists. We need drone viewers around the world to know that, you know, responsible drone hobbyists do exist. And this is not a bad thing. This is a fun and safe hobby. But you've just got to know what you're doing and take every step you can to be as safe as possible. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into some other videos. Check out epicdroneshow.com. You can find all the drones, all the drone accessories, all my tutorial videos, and a whole lot more. And thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe. youtube.com/IrixGuy. Y'all have a good day. Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe, like, and share. It's viewers like you that enable my channel to continue to grow. Thank you.